create new glossy material. Drag it and assign it to the hair object. Select the glossy material and under the diffuse channel, select the texture parameter and assign a native noise shader. Let's open up the properties and change the type from noise to Looker. I'll increase the global scale to 250%, go back a level and place the noise shader inside a colorizer. Let's open the colorizer and change the colors in the gradient parameter. So I would like to see some dark green colors, some nice fresh greens, and maybe a touch of brighter looking yellowish grass. You can adjust the knots on the gradient effect to get the desired result. With the glossy material selected, check the roughness tab and let's add some slight roughness, like this. Let's once again render the current view. And there we go. These are the basics of using the hair module with Octane Render for Cinema 4D. In this one, we'll take a look at rendering splines by using the hair module. Let's start with a basic example. Go under the splines menu and create any parametric spline you like. With the object selected, navigate to Simulate Hair Object, Add Hair. You can immediately see something happened, though it isn't the result we're looking for. With the hair object selected, go under the Guides tab and change the root parameter from Spline Vertex to Spline Guides. To be able to properly reflect the shape of the parametric spline, we need to change the segments of the hair guides from 8 to something like 750 for this particular shape. And there we go. To increase the thickness of the hair, we need to work with the dedicated hair material. Select it and check the Basic tab. As we already know, color and specular will have no effect on how rendered hair looks. With thickness selected, check the corresponding tab and increase the root and tip parameters to 10 centimeters. And there we go. To alter the shading of hair, we need to create an Octane glossy material and assign it to the hair object. Let's change the color from the default white to pale yellow, for example. And of course, if I now navigate around, the live viewer will react accordingly. Since this is a parametric object, I can alter some of the parameters and the live viewer will behave as expected. If we turn this into a point object and select a point, the hair module will follow properly to reflect the changes in the geometry. Let's take a look at another example. This time we'll work with X particles. So let's start with a simple XP emitter with emitter shape set to sphere. On the emission, reduce the birth rate to 100 and speed to 50 centimeters. Press play to preview the effect. With the XP emitter selected, navigate to X particles, modifiers, motion and create XP turbulence. Reduce the scale to 50% and press play. Select the XP emitter once again and create XP trail. Let's press play and you can clearly see that the X particles have been traced to create splines. With the XP trail object selected, go under Simulate, Hair Object, Add Hair. Check the Guides tab of the hair object and change the route from Spline Vertex to Spline Guides. Let's increase the segments to 24, and there we go. To change the thickness of hair, select the hair material, Basic tab, and first disable Color and Specular. Thickness is enabled by default, so check the tab and increase the root to something like 5 and the tip to 10. To control the shading of hair, we need to create a new material, which needs to be assigned to the hair object. Let's add some interest by assigning various colors. Check the diffuse channel and under texture, create a native noise shader. Open up the parameters and increase the contrast to 50%. Go back a level and place the noise shader inside a colorizer. To generate a rainbow-like pattern, open up the gradient parameter, check Load Preset and select Full Color. You can continue with the tweaks of the Octane material by, for example, increasing the index to something like 2 and maybe adding a bit of roughness. And there we go, you can now navigate around to preview the effect.